Right, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be continuing the overall collection. Uh, as you can see back there, can do the finger thing again. I'm so good at. I decided to take them out. Um, Felt like this would probably be a better way of showcasing it rather than going with the phone and stuff because it has that weird layout where it obscures the way it records basically. And I think this would probably be a better way of just going for it. I'm not going to be sitting there and doing all of them, as you can see. I basically took out a tiny portion of what was left of the row, and then one entire row. And I don't know how many that equates to, but considering my throat was getting kind of dry from yesterday's stuff with the pickups, I'm going to probably take pauses a little bit more frequently and try and drink while I'm talking about stuff. But it's essentially equates to about 3 stacks of that size. So I don't know, maybe 30, 35, 40 minutes if I'm very, very slow. But yeah, let's just jump straight into it. So we ended off with Metro 2033 for the 360. So we got Metro Last Light for the 360. If you see me leaning down here, this is where I'm gonna have to move them to. Metro Redux, which is actually the way that I played the series. So I played the other two, but I never finished them. But with these on the 360, I should say, on the Xbox One, I did end up finishing them, and really, really loved the series. And completing it with Metro Exodus, the Xbox One. Unfortunately, this isn't the version with the DLC. I'll probably look to switch that out over time. I need to look at whether or not it comes on the disc. Um, as we're all well aware, when they print Ultimate Editions and stuff like that, sometimes they don't put all of the DLC on the disc and they just rely on the green light to download it off of the site or storefront, should I say? Which kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? The whole point of that is preservation and stuff, but I digress. Miasma Chronicles. Really interesting one, this. Um, this is from the Bearded Ladies, is what they were called. Uh, Thumbs up for the name of that. Very creative. But this is the people who brought you um, Mutant Year Zero, and I really, really liked that game. Really thought it was something special. And this is very. The weird thing is, it's very, very similar. Not only in like gameplay, but tone and story and stuff. I didn't finish this like I did Mutant Year Zero, but it drew a lot of the same things that it was going for. Um, so I'm not sure if the further you get into this game, maybe they turn around and be like, "Oh, it's a sequel in everything but name." So who knows? Next up, Midnight Club Los Angeles. I've really like not sure how many people know. I'm a big fan of racing games. I can't get into Midnight Club. I don't know why. Um, I've played it maybe 3 attempts now, and each time I just end up bouncing off of it. I don't know what it is. It doesn't scream to me like a lot of other games. But maybe I need to give it one last big push and try. But yeah, Rockstar, of course, made the game. Very sad to see that the output is so sparse now, and so you get one game off of them per generation. It feels like now. That's really, really unfortunate. But moving on, Minecraft Story Mode. So this is the season pass disc. I don't think it actually works. Um, I don't know if it's because I've been not been given the season pass disc, but it's something that I wanted to have. I tried to grab it before the store closure. I don't think either I didn't get given the season pass disc or it just didn't work pulling the episodes off it, unfortunately. We can kind of do these two together because they're from the same series. Uh, Mirror's Edge and Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Very weird one as like a series. Very weird that it got a sequel at all, considering how I don't know. I didn't really hear many people talk about like Mirror's Edge as being like a game that's like, oh, that's my favorite, or that's amazing. It was very 2010-ish kind of DNA. You could definitely feel that kind of vibe from it. So it was weird when they brought it back because what year is it printed on the thing? Yeah, 2016. It's kind of strange. So it would have been 8 years, I believe, from the release from the first game. And then on top of that, it's essentially just a retelling of the first game's story, just with things changed, which was even more baffling. So, yeah, I enjoyed both games, but it's not a series that I'm crying for a return of. The kind of I'm happy if EA want to just put that to bed and never touch it again. Right. This game, oh boy, did this not only like make me a fan of the series, I think this was the game that made a lot of people a fan of the series. Monster Hunter World took the world by storm. We obviously have Wilds coming out next month. Um, really looking forward to that. It did incredible numbers on its like beta and stuff. But this, my God, just it hit all of the right notes for me. Um, it obviously has well, I'm sure Dragon's Dogma borrowed from it, considering it's not only from Capcom, but it came out obviously after many Monster Hunter games came out. But just the combat is incredible. It's going to be very interesting to see how they handle bigger party sizes because I think it's 4 people can go out on a hunt in Monster Hunter World, and they're meant to be expanding that like quite a lot. So that'll be very, very interesting. We'll do the same thing we did with Mirror's Edge for these. Mortal Kombat. So Mortal Kombat. Oh, there we go. Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. So finished this one quite a while ago. Kind of strange. I thought I had Mortal Kombat 10, but clearly not. Um, really strong story in this. Much, much better than this for me. This was a recent clear, and I don't know. This felt very, very messy in its story. You either side, well, I say side. You choose which path to take, either with Mortal Kombat characters or DC Universe characters. It's the same thing basically. You get to the same conclusion. It's just a different boss fight at the end. I don't really recommend people play this really, but this Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 10, very very good. And I think the newest one was Mortal Kombat 1, right? I haven't played that yet and don't own it, so it's not here. Mortal Shell. Um, very weird Souls-like. You don't have like traditional classes like you would in a normal Souls-like. They are your shells. And how it works is I believe when you get like a killing blow dealt against you, it pushes you out of it and you have to scramble to get back inside of it, kind of thing. Um, didn't play a ton of it. It didn't really resonate with me. When this came out, I believe it came out in the same time as Hellpoint came out. And I clicked a hell of a lot more with Hellpoint than I did with Mortal Shell. Even after coming back to it after beating Hellpoint, I've gone back to it maybe 2 or 3 times now. It just doesn't do anything for me. Just not particularly interested in working my way through it. Right, we're getting to the end of the first stack. Got 2 more games in that stack. Oh boy. See this and Crusader Kings 3, along with probably Civ and Football Manager, them four are games that will just eat hundreds of hours for me. I cannot like the amount of time I put into this is crazy. You'll be able to see it when we do the profile reviews. It should have um amount of time played for each game, which this will be one of them. It's so damn addictive and so damn good, and it's such a step up from Mountain Blade Warband, which was the previous release. The only thing that's missing is them adding like co-op support for the actual story. I think that would be incredible. But being able to have it's it's kind of like Crusader Kings in the sense that you're commanding armies and stuff, but you actually get down onto the battlefield, but there's not as much going on like behind the scenes politically and stuff like that. So if there's a game that can bridge that, that would be the perfect game for me. Of being like a ruler, balancing the realm and stuff, while also giving me command over like, you know, swaths of units and being able to fight it out on the battlefield, because that's what makes Mountain Blade so special, is the fact that you can launch sieges and then you as the commander can go, you can either let your army fight it out, or you can go by it like with them fighting shoulder to shoulder, and that's so damn good. Don't really have much to say on this one. Moving out to this was a it would have been an Amazon was it Amazon Prime Days or whatever the hell they call it. It was on very deep discount, so is basically it, and that's why I just threw it in there. I think it was for like £3 or something. Never played the first one, and I don't know if I'll ever play this one. But for like £3, it's something that you can just, maybe boot up one time, mess around, get a few achievements in it. No harm done. Just gonna reach down and move these away. To make room for the next lot, and then move the other ones up. Also allows me to regain my voice and take a break. Right. Murdered Soul Suspect, limited edition, comes in the. They started doing this towards the end of the 360 gen, where you'd have these types of cardboard boxes for the editions. I don't believe anything's in here. This would have been a CEX pickup. Yeah, it's all been robbed, but it was one of them instances then where the price of this was the exact same as just buying the normal standard case. So it's like, you know, why not? So I ended up starting it on the 360 as it would have been one of the final games I played. Really enjoyed it, but when you're transitioning in a generation like that, and they obviously didn't have backwards compatibility at that point, this kind of got left behind. Never ended, never ended, never ended up picking it up again, and kind of waited a while. And I think I got the Xbox One version on like a deep sale, but never ended up booting it up at the time. And actually playing through it right now. It's one of the Xbox One games I've got going as part of a backlog chipping away I'm doing. Really, really enjoy it. It's a fun game. Fun game. We don't have all that many like detective games really when you think about it. And on top of that, you don't have any games that really take place with like a ghost kind of thing, with a ghost setting, whether it be you're interacting with ghosts or in the case of this game, you are a ghost, which allows you to like walk through walls and stuff. So really, really interesting. Well, speak of the devil, Mutant Year Zero. Played through and finished it. Um, very, very different game, very XCOM like. Um, but it still allows you like kind of a little bit of stealth here and there. But the thing I think I love the most about the game is the fact that it's set far, far, far into the future where like humanity's collapsed and stuff. And your main characters, and we need to turn this is the pig dude and the duck. And it's basically just animals that got experimented on and they gain like sentience and stuff like that and the ability to talk and stuff. And the humor of the game is just top tier because you'll find stuff like one of them the what do you call it, the baseball caps with the beers on each side that you can drink out of and stuff, and they will just come up with like the craziest theories as to what on earth that was, or like a microwave and stuff, thinking that it was like an explosive because they end up interacting with it and turning it on and stuff. It's just stuff like that. I really enjoy that kind of humor. I don't know what that would be like marketed under, but it's yeah, it's really fun. Sticking with kind of XCOM kind of turn-based games. Narcos. Why is there a Narcos game? A very strange one. I don't know if Netflix put any money towards it or if it's just entirely based off the series. But it's one of them things where it's like, okay, sure, make a game of that. And the frustrating thing is it's decent, but it's broken. And I haven't played it since, so maybe it has been patched. But it just didn't function the way it should. There were a lot of bugs. And on top of that, it had a weird case with like being XCOM turn-based combat, but not flowing particularly well. So yeah, it's kind of like a swing and a miss with that. Something I'll probably boot up relatively soon actually and see if they fixed it. NCIS, back to back based on TV shows. Haven't played any of these NCIS or CSI games. I believe they were all published by Ubisoft, and they were kind of a little bit in the vein of like a Telltale kind of esque game, I guess, by the looks of it. I really enjoyed the TV show back in the day. I didn't watch it like how you would normally watch with like obviously from episode one to whatever. It was always like one of them shows that were in the background whenever you'd flick TV on as a kid. It'd always have like constant episodes of that running on one of the channels. So it's one I do want to go back to because I really did like I love the NCIS setting one with that cast. Um, I never really watched any of the other ones that they did. So wow, this is a big ass block here. So I guess what I'll do is I'll separate them by the ones I haven't played, and then because I can just skim through them ones quickly. So Need for Speed, if you couldn't gather. So Need for Speed Most Wanted. This is the 2012 release. Need for Speed Pro Street and Need for Speed Carbon. Haven't played any of those three. Um, I think of the three, though, from looking at them very briefly, it would either be Carbon or Most Wanted that appeals to me. Kind of like the city settings. I think Pro Street is meant to be more drag racing, maybe, by the looks of it. I don't know, but I won't dwell on them. There'll be ones that I give a shot at later on down the line. But this is the stack that I have played. So Need for Speed Unbound is the one I played the least amount of. It's the most recent release. Um, kind of a series that has spiraled down over time. Need for Speed. It's gotten weaker and weaker, but that might just be. I don't know how much of that is them trying to copycat off of stuff like Forza Horizon and stuff, where they should probably just stay in their own lane and do what they were known for. Because stuff like this, I know this didn't get particularly good reviews at its like year of release, but Shift and Shift 2, I really enjoyed the Shift series. It was a shake up because it was more, especially Shift 1, it was more simulation racing, kind of flirting with the idea of trying to be a Forza Motorsport, but also balancing it with arcadey elements. And yeah, it had a really. It's not like there weren't cutscenes in it and stuff like that. There wasn't like particularly storylines, but the career mode was fun, and it had like a star system where you had to do certain stuff to master each race, and that made like replaying it like a fun experience. But weirdly enough, one of my favorite Need for Speeds, Need for Speed Undercover. And I don't know how much of that is based in it, for one, being the very first Need for Speed game I ever played, and secondly, just how much customization you get of cars in this game. It really did blow my mind because it made, when I finally did end up getting like a 360 and stuff, because I believe I played that first on a PS2, um, it made it really difficult to try and get into and enjoy stuff like Forza Motorsport when I was looking through the car customization and seeing how limited it was in comparison to that. Um, because it would have been that and the very first racer I played extensively on 360 would have been Juiced to Hot Import Nights, and that had like absurd levels of customization as well. So it's kind of a hurdle that I had to overcome. This breaks my heart. So fell deeply in love with the Nier series, and I'll show the brighter side of it so far. Nier Replicant, perfectly fine case. Um, Ended up beating this last year, I believe. Maybe it was the year before. It's fairly recent. Um, just I don't I don't think it ranks above Automata for me as like a complete package. But some moments in this game are just absolutely incredible. Like Emil's arc and stuff. And that final bit with him was gut wrenching, to say the least. This hurts my soul. So when the 360 announced that its store was closing down, I ran around like a headless chicken trying to grab as many 360 games as I possibly could. And one of those games you can probably guess already was Near, the original release of it. And the seller kind of duped me. They posted a picture of a Near case and stuff, and this is kind of the thing when you're buying off of eBay and stuff. These things can happen, and they shipped it to me in. Not only is it not even a bloody Near case, with it not even having cover art, it's in an NFL case. Like, are you kidding me? Are you like really? This was originally NFL 12. Just ah, heartbreaking. But I don't think I've finished the 360 version of Nier. That'll be something that I go back and do it in the future. But a series I've dabbled very, 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 very minorly in is the 99 Nights series. God, this is so difficult trying to like move stuff because it's mirroring. I have to mirror the camera so that you can see that, so it's not back to front. But then that obviously has to be opposite to what I'm doing. So yeah, right. Starting off, 99 Nights 1. Um, both of these Xbox 360 exclusives, I don't know if they ever made their way to PlayStation in the end. But I played about 2 hours of 99 Nights 1. It's cool. It's interesting. It's kind of Dynasty Warriors-esque, I guess would be the best way of putting it. And this obviously shot up in value. Now, weirdly enough, to my knowledge, up until late last year, because this is a fairly recent pickup, I thought that 99 Nights 2 didn't get a power release, but I was walking through CX one day and they've wizened up. They're realizing that obviously 360 games are becoming classed as retro. So anything that's rare is now considered an Xbox 360 rare. Rarity, I believe, is the way they. I wish I kept the sticker on there. It would have been perfect to point it out. But this was behind the glass cabinet because they were selling it for, I think it was like £40, unfortunately. Um, but I had to buy it. It's one of them things where the collector in me was screaming that you can't pass up on that because someone will eventually buy that, and it's one of them things where are you going to really roll the dice? Am I going to really roll the dice and end up regretting it later when I go and be like, yeah, I'll buy 99 Nights 2 now that I've finished 99 Nights 1, and then I look over and it's price gouged, and you look on eBay and it's like 130. So thought I'd get that out of the way. Right, final block. Just got to move these. I think it doesn't tell me. I think I have to like click that on. I was wondering how long I'd taken to get through. I feel like I'm getting through them fairly quickly. Right, we'll do the block thing again. Right, Ninja Gaiden 2, haven't played, so that's an easy easy moving on. Ninja Gaiden 3, haven't played, moving on. And Ninja Gaiden Z Yaiba or Yaiba Z Special Edition. Um, in Italian, I believe. Uh, I didn't know it was in Italian. I believe this was a pickup off of Amazon, I think. So it's not something where they posted a picture of the back. It doesn't matter though, as long as it's obviously with the 360 add region lock, but as long as it's in Europe, it'll work. But weirdly enough, because this is something I wanted to show, it comes with like an actual comic book. Like it's a really small comic book, but Dark Horse actually printed a comic book with it. And thankfully, because I was like, oh, it's the the box art's printed in Italian, but thankfully the comics in English. I was able to redeem all the codes before the store shut down. I don't know what this is. Let me have a look. I didn't know if that was an art book. No, it's just the. You forget they used to put game manuals in games. Crazy, right? But yeah, the Ninja Gaiden series isn't something I've dipped too much into. They did the re-release collection for the original games, and I believe I started up the first game and did like the opening 3 hours. I enjoy them; they're fun, but I can't speak for the other games in the series. And yeah, it'd be interesting if they ever bring it back. No More Heroes free. Um, one of those weird ones. Surprised it got a physical release. I don't know if this. I mean, it says made in the EU. I think it's just an EU print. I don't think they did specific ones for the region because they ended up printing all of the. I don't know if they'll be able to make it out. All of the different languages, whatever they are, on it. Which that's smart. Have just one thing printed. We go back to the days now of having nothing in the case. Whoop whoop. But yeah, No More Heroes free. Never played any of the other games. I believe the 360 had a No More Heroes game, but it was tied down to Japan, unfortunately. It never made its way out of Japan. So this is the only one that you can play legitimately on an Xbox across the board. But I've played the opening few hours, and it's definitely weird. It's definitely weird. Really unlike anything. Maybe like the closest thing I can like draw a comparison to would be Killer is Dead. I don't know if that's the same developer, but it just oozes charm and just uniqueness. So, No Straight Roads up next. I think it's a musical-esque game, rhythm and stuff. Haven't been able to dive into it just yet. It's just one of them things that picked up on. I think this was also a Prime Day sale, along with the game up next after this. So a very cheap pickup. Um, don't know how well it reviewed. I've heard absolutely nothing of it, but it just, it was very cheap. I'm always down to just give musical games like that a shot because you never know when you could stumble upon drawing a blank on it. Can't think of the name of the game. The side-scrolling one. Very easy to 100%. You have a guitar. No, it's gone. can't can't think of the name. But as long as it's something like that, I'll love it. Northgard, another one that was picked up in a Prime Day sale. Absolutely no idea what it is, but anything Norse mythology, I'm always willing to give a look at. By the looks of it on the back, it looks as if it's going to be either an RTS or a city builder. So could be interesting. It says write history through conquest, trading, or devotion to the gods. So yeah, might be worth checking out. Ooh, this is a cool one. So Observer, Day One Edition, System Redux. So not the biggest fan of Bloober with their walking sim horror games, but this is one I really, really do want to dive back into and try to finish because not only is it cyberpunk in a setting which I really, really enjoy, comes with an art book as well. Like it's fairly durable. Tons of cool art. There is a lot of nudity in that art book as I just flicked through, hence why I will not be showing it. But the coolest thing that drew me to the game overall is that Rutger Hauer is the is the main character. Plays Daniel Lazarski in the game, and his voice is just so perfect. And the sad thing is, I believe he passed away shortly after the game launched. So they never were able to give us a sequel and stuff. But saying that, I don't know how the game ends. Maybe there isn't a way for him to have continued it. Maybe he dies. Who knows? But the opening few hours is interesting. It just grates on me when it's like a walking sim esque horror game. I really don't like that. But moving on. Omerta, City of Gangsters. Another, I guess, XCOM. esque game because when you're in environments, when you're taking them over, you kind of have XCOM kind of like combat, but it's like a mixture between. Hmm, how would you explain it? You build up businesses and stuff. It's very Empire of Sin would have been a good draw that maybe people have heard of that came out recently. Um, but yeah, just one that didn't really nobody really cared about, unfortunately. And this is the thing, we have Mafia that takes a crack at it every now and then. Other than that, you don't really get, 1940s, 1920s all the way to 1940s like American gangster games. And that's when this is set, 1920s. And it's really unfortunate because I'll take anything. Like I'll take a Mafia-esque game, so like a GTA clone, as it were, or even just more of these like strategy games. Because other than Empire of Sin, like unless I'm seriously overlooking something, I can't think of another game that came out in recent memory of it. So it's really unfortunate. Right. Getting to the end of them. About 6 games left after this. Oh boy. A series that doesn't get enough love. The Operation Flashpoint series. Very, very strange as well, because you'll also see on the front of that is Codemasters. Yep, that is right. The people that bring you dirt games absolutely nailed it with like an armor like, and it's absolutely incredible. So that is literally like I can't really put it in words other than that. It is just armor but on consoles. And it's crazy that they got it running on a 360 and it functions. I believe both games are backwards compatible, which is definitely the way that you'd want to play them, with how demanding they were. But yeah, it's fully co-op as well, which is really cool. They ever did a few episodes with Ninja on the channel where we played through the opening few chapters, and I've beat both on my own because you kind of bounced off of them. But both games are just really, really good. I don't know when this was set. It doesn't tell you because this definitely felt like it was. I think it was Vietnam era, but this felt a lot more old school in comparison to Red River when they came out with it. This felt more. This is set in 2013. It's set in Afghanistan, as like many of the shooters were back then. Battlefield 3 tackling that kind of campaign and stuff like that. Medal of Honor going down that route. Definitely prefer the first game to this, but this isn't like a terrible game by any means. This is probably a better entry point if you don't like jank. This was a lot more polished and stuff and had a lot more smooth of a storyline. But yeah, both games incredible. Incredible. Would love to have them come back. I believe when we did on Brandon's channel, I don't know what he's gonna end up naming it. This the head-to-heads basically of revivals. Um, Operation Flashpoint was on there for me, and it didn't progress, so I don't think many people want it. But it's definitely one that I'd love to see make a return. And now we have the Outcast series. So this is the older game that got a re-release. Um, I don't think that I played this. I didn't know Big Ben developed that or published it, one of the two. Yes, it was THQ Nordic, this one. I don't think I played this at all. This was also it was given away with Games with Gold many, many, many years ago. I don't know when it originally released. Does it say? No. But I know this is a fairly old game that they basically remade, which is cool. But the one that I did end up checking out, and from Brandon's suggestion and recommendation, and gushing love for the combat of this game and the sheer absurdity of everything that's going on, is Outcast: The New Beginning. And yeah, it's it's truly something. It's kind of picking up where Elix left off in that kind of vein, a lot more polished, but maybe less RPG inspiration and stuff like that in the way that Elix does it. Very, very ambitious. This feels like almost because this is, I believe, it's an Embracer project. It almost feels like they had no clue this was in existence because the amount of stuff that was going on in this game and how much they reached way over what they're capable of doing. It feels like Embracer didn't realize what was going on because they probably would have told them to scale it back. But it's something I do want to get back to. It's a really, really cool game. Um, I don't know how well it sold because it reviewed fairly decently. A lot of people were like in the same boat as me, kind of looking at it and be like, it has very rough elements, but there's definitely passion here, and it'll be very interesting to see if it did enough to garner a sequel. But we'll just have to wait and see. Man, we had a ton of these. Let me take a sip quick. The old throat's getting parched. Do my signature nose wipe. The joy of living with animals. Right, back to it. So the 360 did a ton of these kind of releases throughout its generation, and it was like, I believe all of these types were arcade releases. So these were all available via the arcade category when you would look online in the 360 store. And you saw, I believe, Limbo. Was it Limbo Trials and something else? I know Explosion Man was one, I believe. Don't know if there was any more. Drawing a blank on that. But all of these in this uh, case in particular, these were all Ubisoft published games. So you had Outland, From Dust, and Beyond Good and Evil HD. And I believe they're all on, yep, it's all on one disc. So you can just pop that in, and I would assume they either work straight off of it, or does it give you like a menu that you boot up, or maybe it has to download them all to the hard drive? I'm not sure. Doesn't say. But really good for space conservation for sure, with three titles in one. So I haven't played Outland, I haven't played From Dust, and I said the same thing yesterday. I really struggle to enjoy Beyond Good and Evil. So unfortunately, uh, I do want to give it a go though. I keep saying it. The thing I find most baffling because I keep looking at the back. Let's see if you can see that. They gave 9 out of 10 for Outland. They gave 9 out of 10 for From Dust. Yeah, Beyond Good and Evil, 8.5. Kind of crazy. You'd have thought Beyond Good and Evil would have been the one that took the crown. Ooh. Outriders. The game that was sent to Game Pass and died, unfortunately. So many people shit on this game, and it's so unfortunate. I think it had a few issues at launch, don't get me wrong, but this is such a good like if you like Borderlands, this is it. Like the powers and the way that they like combo detonate off of each other. I don't think a game's done that more satisfying from what I've played. And don't get me wrong, the dialogue is kind of meh, but it's got a serviceable story and stuff. And the expansions that they gave to it, which was can't think of the name now. Yeah, the DLC names escape me, but it was like a roguelike mode. They popped onto the end of the game, which just gave infinite replayability, the ability to chase down sets and stuff. It was really cool. And one of them titles that I think a lot of people will probably look back at in 10, 15 years and be like, man, maybe we should have supported it because it would have been cool to have another game in that kind of series and stuff, kind of in the same way that people look back on um the Order 1886 and stuff like that, where it's like perhaps we were too harsh in passing judgment. Right. Final two games. Don't have anything really to say about the outfit to begin with. Have never played it. It was one of the games I went and scrambled for when they announced the 360 closure. This was in the time, however, when things were going for about £2 a pop of games. I went and basically cleared out most of Music Magpie's libraries and stuff like that. Just ended up dumping like £50 worth of games, getting them delivered £50 worth of game. And that was one of them. So I haven't played it. It's there if I want to. And then finally, we have Outward. Such a weird game. This it's yeah. They say open world RPG, and that's probably the best way of like solely describing it. It has incredibly punishing like survival elements tagged onto that, which they have omitted from the description on the back here. But it's one that I do want to probably get back into. But it was so brutal to understand like what's going on and stuff like that and the difficulty curve. But truly just it is unique. It kind of felt like a little bit more polished of like a Risen and stuff like that, melding in survival elements. And the cool thing is, as well, even if you're struggling with it, it has I don't know if it's just two-player co-op. Yes, only two-player co-op, but that's still good enough to help out and stuff. Fully co-op from start to finish with a friend. So yeah, right. That is it. So that is one oh boy, one shelf down. We have that whole shelf, which is being obscured. Oh, this is so difficult. That shelf, that shelf, that shelf, and that shelf. So five left. And then what I'll end up doing with that all being wrapped up. Wait a minute, hold on. So because I was doing them alphabetically, I keep games at my desk here that I'm playing through. So these would have been in the list, so I guess I'll quickly rattle these off. Neverwinter Nights, Enhanced Edition, one of the Beamdog HD remasters that they kicked out. Um, Probably Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 remasters definitely clear this by a mile. Maybe this lands at 3. Yeah, maybe because I've not played Planescape Torment at all yet, and I've played very, very, very little amounts of Icewind Dale. So I played this a little bit more. So I think I'll give that the third place for that. Ooh, what a game to actually end on. Something that I have tons of positivity to shine onto it. This game gets so shit on, like unfairly. I think mainly because it's a Marvel game. It's so maybe it's just me though as well. It's so addictive. So this is from Firaxis, the people who made XCOM, and they announced that they were making this Midnight Suns game, and that it would be kind of XCOM-esque combat, and then it ended up tagging on a card-based system. And I know that that turned a lot of people off at the time. It's so damn addictive. Like I think I'm about 20 hours into this, and I'm dragging my feet as much as I can. I'm just sitting there replaying battles because it's scratching that itch that like Slay the Spire and Gwent does. Like for me, it's just so damn addictive. I don't need to push on with the story because I'm content with just doing the battles and grinding, leveling up all of the different heroes and stuff, and building different decks. So yeah, good that we could end on something a little bit more positive because I enjoy Outward, but I definitely love Midnight Suns, and it's something that if you can get it on a really deep sale, definitely go check it out if you're a fan of like card games and stuff like that. If you love Slay the Spire, I know Marvel isn't the end all be all for people, and it isn't for me really either. Like I enjoy it, but I wouldn't say that I'm the world's biggest Marvel fan. It's something that, I dabble in from time to time. I enjoy them, but yeah, Midnight Suns is probably, I'm not even gonna lie, probably I would probably say it's my favorite Marvel game property, and then have Ultimate Alliance behind that. Then with them being one and two, I'll just combine them. And off the top of my head, the games that I play, because I haven't played the Spider-Man games, XCOM, X-Men Origins Wolverine, I'll put a third. There you go. A little list at the end there for you, as you would expect. Right, that's that shelf done, and I'll get to the that shelf. Do you know what? I'll probably try and get these every few days done, because then we can blitz through them and then move on to like a little bit more spicy collection showings and stuff. Because I want to do stuff as well. Where is it? The Assassin's Creed books and stuff. I want to like pull out an entire collection of an IP, for instance, and show that off. So it will mean like retreading the games and stuff, but shining a light on the books and stuff like that. But yeah, that'll be for a future video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I will see you in the next one.